coding and without coding or knowing how to write codes, if that's not something that interests you, I think content marketing is like a very great place to start because it touches a whole lot of other skills, which I'm going to also talk about today. So, I mean, before we talk about content marketing, what exactly is content, right? So, content is basically, any form of information, any form of like idea, messages that anybody, consumes or like spend their time in like in consuming or something that anybody creates. So, content is it's literally king. This is why people like Bill Gates sometimes ago, I think 10 years ago, or 11 years ago, usually hammer on like content is king because we live in we live in an economy that is based on the internet where information is free and very open to all. So there is basically an overload of content. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. Sorry about that. So yeah, like I was saying, content is literally anything that you can consume, things like music, images, text, videos, chats, games. Literally all of these things are content, even down to like your WhatsApp status, your chats. These are like things like information that you create. So content is literally any information that you create. So standing on that, you realize that by that logic, almost every one of us are all content creators, right? So everybody creates content. What we are currently doing right now, as I speak to you, is content. We are creating content. Everybody chats, everybody posts on their WhatsApp status, everybody posts on Facebook, you upload pictures on Instagram, you do all of these interesting things. We are all content creators. So the only difference is that we are more intentional than each other, right? So some of us do it for fun, some of us take it as a job, some of us use this content to drive certain things that we want, So, and like I mentioned earlier, we live in an economy that is a very, very well connected economy based on the internet. So it means that everybody can create content, everybody has the tools to create content. It means like it's a little bit more competitive out there because to get somebody's attention to read your content, it's an attention economy, right? So we live in an attention economy whereby attention is the new currency right now, like not currency, but it's like the new social currency. So this is why you see that people who are like excellent public speakers, they know how to command people's attention. People like Barack Obama, excellent public speakers, they know how to get people attention. So there's so much psychology that people actually use to get people's attention. So how do you capture people's attention if everybody's a content creator? So this is where the content marketing actually comes into place. So what is content marketing? So now that we said content is any information, videos, images, and all these things that you create, that's content. Content creation is probably the process of you creating all those images, stuff. That's like the whole topic on itself. So content marketing itself is just basically how do you like distribute this content to make sure like if you have a goal in mind and you create a content, specific content for that. So how do you get your content into the faces and the eyeballs of people who actually need to see this content, right? So it's just like a strategic marketing approach to like distribute all your content you've created, distribute this thing to achieve a particular goal, right? So a good example of content marketing is things, things like, let's say, a good example could be, probably BBC, right? So BBC would probably invite somebody. So let me give you a good example of a content marketing, right? So if BBC wants to get into the Nigerian market, what would they do is basically they know they have to create content to get into content that people will probably love and stuff like that. What they would do is basically look for somebody who is like has like a mass following or somebody like that commands people's attention a lot. They'll bring that person onto their show. they probably have an agenda that they want to achieve. Like probably they want to talk about something about, let's say, this is a random idea, but let's say a new university in like the UK is now taking admission, and they want to sell that particular university, right? So they bring somebody who is within that particular domain, they bring it up on their show, and basically they talk about, things around the university, things around education, and somewhere in between there, they start slotting in how that university is probably like the best place for people to start. That is a very classic old way of how content marketing is actually done, right? So what are the advantages of content marketing? Basically, you use it like to build loyalty with your audience. Your audience trusts you more. So I mean, if you have friends, a lot of people have been in this situation before, including myself, whereby you have like a friend who you are in constant communication with, and probably the friend needs help, like maybe you probably need a loan. I mean, you will be more than willing to want to help that person. But for a friend that you've probably not communicated with in like the past 6 months, it just pops out of nowhere, like, I beg, can you quickly, like, you will be kind of skeptical, like, no, I don't really want to loan you this money because I don't know what you're up to. I don't know if I give you this money, you're going to run away with it. I don't know what's going to happen. You don't have an idea of what the person is up to. So content marketing helps you, consistent content marketing helps you to, like, by the time you distribute your content to a particular set of audience constantly over and over and over, it builds loyalty, builds audience because they trust you more. People trust people, they trust people or brands or companies that they keep hearing from every time. That's just the way it's kind of built. It's just like basic user psychology, right? A friend that you consistently hear from every now and then, you get to trust them more, you get to have more confidence in them more, compared to somebody who just pops up like once in 2 weeks or once in a month, like, hey, can you do this for me? Like, the connection is not even there. So content marketing, because you build loyalty and the audience trust, whenever you want
a particular set of audience that you can do, right? They get to trust you more, and whatever goal you want to achieve. Maybe you want to get more sales for like if you sell a product or the service. If you want more leads for your business, you can get more the product or your ebook or whatever you want. You can actually do that. Content marketing also helps you to kind of like generate more brand awareness with your particular set of audience, right? Because the thing is, there's a reason why whenever you want to buy a SIM card, it's always the first, maybe you want a SIM card, the first brand that always comes to people's mind is MTN. And why do you think so? It's because what MTN keeps telling you is MTN is everywhere you go. I'm sorry, is that MTN? Yeah, MTN is everywhere you go. That's what they tell you, like, we are everywhere. So, and they're always putting it in your face every time because they're distributing their advertisements into your channels where they can reach you. They're constantly telling you that this is what we can do, this is what we can do. That's the first brand that you think of whenever you want to buy a SIM card. Whenever you want to get, maybe you need cheaper internet, you need cheaper and affordable internet, Glow is always the first brand that comes to your mind. Because why? They are always consistently telling you that we have the best data. They'll tell you to press star 777 hash to get 1 gig. So sometimes you hear them to get 20 gig for 500 naira. Some of their offers is too good to be true. But they're always putting this thing in your face, in your eyes, just so that you can actually come back. So they are building that audience, they're building that connection with you based on content marketing. And also content marketing, it allows you to have more better authority in your domain. Now, because I'll give an example, because I'm always constantly talking about, marketing in crypto, I'm always talking about higher level things about growth products in crypto. People sometimes see me as an expert, and this is why, they see me as an authority in what I do, and this is why they invited me to come and speak to you guys and like share my knowledge, right? And because of this, people just kind of reach out to me like, man, I think there's something here that I think we need you. We want you in your team. I think this is an opportunity for you. There's a role that popped up in this company. I think you should apply for it or something like that. Or there's this kind of like gig or work or contract. I think you should take it. I don't even need to bother to look, because what am I doing? I use my channels, my social media, everything as like a place to position myself, and I'm always constantly, that's the only thing I talk about for people that follow me. although I post a lot of memes, some of my memes might be related to marketing, some of my memes might be related to crypto. I always find a way to connect these things, to always like kind of like position myself as a better authority. That's the same reason why whenever people want to trust wallet or any of this, because these people are constantly engaging in content marketing, right? So they create their content and they constantly distribute it and share it to places where they can find you. As at the last 4 months, or let me say from early January to like middle of this month, about the first 6 months of this year, whenever I go online, I'm always seeing Binance Academy hats. And it's also a part of content marketing because they are constantly distributing their content. They just want to be in your face every single time, so that whenever you want to make, you might not want to buy whatever they are selling now, but when it's time for you to buy what they are selling, they will be the first person to be to. So it's also an example of like how you build content marketing can actually help you build a better authority in your domain. So content marketing, like I said, is like a very broad one, and it sits in between. I would say it sits in between all marketing that you hear, all this paid advertising, social media. Content marketing is the core of everything, because every single sort of marketing you do is still kind of revolving around content. Is that you're creating creative, if you're using paid advertisement. If you're doing online content marketing, you still have to create content. If your books are literally content, if you're selling books online or you have ebooks that you want people to download, it's still a content. These are types of content marketing. Audio is a type of content marketing, right? If you use Spotify, because think about it, a musician makes his music in a studio, he creates it. The content creation process is something, it's also it's not a type of content marketing, it's also like a subset of content marketing, one of the things you have to do before you can now start marketing that content. So creating the content is an entirely different concept. I believe somebody must have talked about the topic already. Now, a musician stays in his studio or in his house, he creates the music, and what does he do? He looks for channels where he can actually distribute the music. So if you start asking yourself, I can't count the number of people who wants to be musicians, because Afrobeat is like currently trending right now. So a lot of people want to be musicians. A lot of people want to be TikTok influencers, because these are like platforms where you can distribute content. Distribution. I'll get back to that. Why I keep mentioning distribution. Now, like I said, content also at the core of content marketing, storytelling forms a very, very huge part of it, because at the end of the day, right, whatever content you are creating, I mean, if you think about it, nowadays, most content that are very popular, think about movies like Squid Game. So Squid Game was like probably the most popular, was it this year or last year? I can't remember exactly, the most popular Netflix series in a very long time. Like it broke some records. Why was Squid Game a very popular series? Because you start thinking about, it was a different storyline that we've not seen before. Like you could just connect with that movie. So this is why storytelling is the core part. I mean, I remember those days when Timaya came out, he was always telling us how he was selling plantain in Bayelsa. There's a way people just sympathize with those kind of things, because, that guy holds to sharp, man, this guy's hearing music. You just want to hear his music more. People start telling you about how their girlfriend broke their heart or something like that. You can connect all those things as storytelling. So it's also a core part of content marketing, right? So like I said, there are different type of content marketing, even down to TikTok. It's also a form of content marketing. So you create the content and then you distribute that content on TikTok. So there are different content distribution platforms available online. You have like all these social media platforms are content distribution platforms. You have blogs, they are content distribution platforms. But because it's a channel through which you market your content, it's also a type of content marketing. Because on blogs now you can leverage SEO, search engine optimization. So Google can start ranking your blog post online for people to reach more. So going back to the next thing, there are like 3 basic stages of content marketing, right? So whatever you want, whatever sort of content you create and whenever you want to market it, there's always 3 stages, right? So the first one is like awareness. Awareness is whereby you want to like draw a little bit of attention to whatever you're creating. So think of reasons why. I just saw Black Panther Part 2 a week or 2 weeks ago. But before the movie launched, they've already been running advertisements. They'll do trailers. Marvel does a lot of these things. So they do trailers. they'll do trailer just to get your excitement warming up, just to like start sparking your interest, right? So they do these trailers to build that awareness, right? To build that awareness. And by the time they're getting closer to launch that movie, then you start seeing massive marketing. They start doing massive marketing because they want to start, that's when you start seeing consideration. So now they've gotten your interest with the trailer. Now they start marketing it everywhere, start distributing it on social media, all these channels. And then at the end of the day, they want you to take a decision, which is like what content marketing is for, right? So let's assume you are like the content marketing expert for Binance, right? Binance is a platform where people trade crypto, they do all these things, or Yellow Card, or any of this platform, right? The first thing first is you start thinking of ways of how can I generate awareness for this product. Then how do I get people to start considering this product? And then how do I get people to start, okay, when by the time it's time for them to make a decision of like, where do I trade my crypto? You want Yellow Card or Binance to be the platform where they will actually do these things. So let's take a look at what a typical marketing strategy would look like. So going back to Binance and what's it called again? Yellow Card as an example, right? So they hired you to be a content marketing expert or manager for them. So what's the first thing you do, right? The first thing you want to do is like understand what is the product I'm actually selling, right? So you want to have like a strategy book or a document to outline what is this product actually selling. Even before you create any content or distribute content, you need to first understand. It's like one of like the basic principles of marketing. Understand what you are selling first, the service you are selling or the products that you're selling, right? So in the case of Binance, Binance is an exchange. It's an exchange where people trade crypto. You understand that's very quite okay. This is what Binance does. People can use Binance as products, can trade crypto on Binance. You can do all sorts of things. Binance now has a whole lot of services that you can do on the platform, but the basic thing that they do is they allow people to exchange their crypto with one another, right? So you understand that quite well. Now, the second thing you want to do is like build an audience persona, whereby who is the audience that needs to come on, that we need on this platform. That is where you start doing the analysis of, okay, people who trade crypto, one, maybe you have like two type of audience. The first type of audience are people who are already trading crypto. Those are the kind of people you want to get onto the platform, right? Then the second audience might be like, category of audience might be like, okay, people that have not yet trading crypto, but we want to teach them how to trade crypto, what crypto is all about, to bring them, right? Now that you understand your products, you understand the two categories of audience that you're trying to target. Now you start developing your strategy of like, okay, what are the things that interest people who trade crypto the most? You know, people already trade crypto, probably like memes, they probably like cheap fees. They probably want to hear about security of the platform. They want to hear that the platform is liquid enough, they have enough that they will not rock with them like maybe FTX or something. They want to know is the CEO popular, all those things. Now, by the time you understand those things, you put them somewhere. Then the second category of audience are like people that have not started trading crypto. Then your strategy, you start thinking about, okay, how do I get these people interested? Now, okay, what are the things crypto can solve in these people's life? You know, crypto can allow them save in dollars. Crypto that can allow them send money or receive money across borders. Crypto can allow them to, you know, maybe earn some sort of extra sort of income. By the time you know that now, that okay, that's the strategy, you put that down, then you come to, okay, where can I meet this kind of people? For the first category of your audience, which is like people already trade crypto. Now you know that these people, they're probably on Twitter, they're probably on Telegram, they're probably, you know, on those platforms, they're probably following CoinMarketCap because they already trade crypto. They want to like keep in track. They're probably following Cointelegraph, following all these popular media publications, because anybody who trades crypto literally does that. So we all follow Cointelegraph, CoinMarketCap. Those are platforms you want to follow, all those things. Then for the second category of people, these are people who don't trade crypto, but we already said that there are people who are probably interested in how they can save in dollars, how they can make extra money, and how they can actually, you know, maybe receive and send money from abroad, which crypto can actually solve for them. And Binance is a very suitable platform that can do that for them. Now it's not time for you to choose your content form. Now, for your content form, for the people who trade crypto, we said that they follow Cointelegraph, follow CoinMarketCap, follow all these places, and you know, now you think, and we already said that these people are probably interested in like security fees and all these things. If you want to create your content in that position, now you want to create it to suit that kind of person. Now, for me, if I will do that, I'll probably start creating memes about things that are currently happening in the industry, about maybe FTS or Put. Now I can start making memes about how, funny memes that maybe Binance, I can just find a funny meme that will just kind of like dictate Binance in a way that Binance is probably the best place to go and trade your crypto. And I can do all of that, use memes, and I can probably make an ad and, something about security, leveraging the current situation of things or things that these people are interested in. So I'll create a content that suits them, or probably put up a blog post on Binance vlog, or on their social media. I'll just make sure whatever is targeting that particular thing. And then for the people the second category of audience who are probably not crypto centric, they don't know crypto, but we said they are interested in how to receive money online, they're interested in how they can actually save in dollars. I'll start creating content around how can they use Binance to save in dollars. I'll start creating content around how can they, so my content could either be in a blog post. I can make content using this kind of people. Now I can make content using, I can make advertisements, set up like an ad creative thing, an advertisement that would depict like, okay, you can now save in dollars using Binance. Then you can receive money from abroad using Binance. I can use a blog post to do that. I can start sharing it on social media and stuff like that. So now you have to begin the creative process, which I'll let you talk about. Now, once you've decided what content form suits that particular audience that you want, now you start creating it, which is where content creation skills come into place. Probably if you can do that yourself, you want to hire somebody or something like that, you can start doing that. But I don't want to go too deep into that. Now, the parts distribute. So this is where a lot of content marketing experts, even professionals, miss it. So I'm talking from experience because I've worked at companies that are probably worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And this is the main problem, and which I'll talk about in the next slide. Distribution is the main problem that people don't actually understand. So somebody just creates a blog post after we've done all this strategy thing, and I create a blog, you just upload it on the blog post and you just leave it like that. Or you just make the advertisement, you just share it there on social media like that, right? I'm going to talk about in the next slide. So, and the last part of like what a typical content marketing strategy looks like is you want to start, after you've distributed your content, you want to start measuring and seeing what's the numbers looking like. They want to measure and you want to start iterating. Okay, so for instance, I remember back when, because I was running a marketing agency, right? And the client hired us to help them to create leads for people who are interested in like investing and all of that stuff. So what we did was we created different variations of like advertisement that we could run on Facebook and LinkedIn and all these things. Then we started blasting those things, distributing our content using paid advertisement on Facebook and LinkedIn, right? And then we started monitoring it. So we saw that some particular kind of creative pictures that we used for the advertisement was not performing, and some other ones were performing. And then we compared both of them together and it's like, okay, this is the difference, this is the difference. So now that because we have numbers and we can measure like, okay, this is the one that is performing more, this is the one that is performing more, then we shut down the one that was not performing and we focused more on the one that performed. So a typical example of this is things when you see that Netflix does this nonsense a lot, where you just see that one show that you find very, very interesting, they'll just say they've canceled the show and they're not showing anymore. To us, the viewers, it's very painful because it was a show you were enjoying and they just stopped it. But the reason why Netflix is doing that is because they are the ones seeing the numbers at the back. Because you enjoyed that show does not mean majority of their users enjoy the show. So they are seeing the numbers that a lot of people are not watching this show, and it was not a good investment for them to like make a season 2. So measuring and iterating and making decisions is also a very important part that a lot of people don't talk about. You need to measure the outcome. If you use Instagram or TikTok, if you're like a creator there, they have like this creator button where you can start tracking how many number of people saw your videos. I mean, you can see on TikTok, you can see the videos that perform well. You can watch it again, like, okay, this video, why did it perform? Why did it, maybe something you said in the video, or it's funny. Now you want to start creating more. So this is why Kabilame is like the most popular TikTok guy, because when he started making these videos where he was not speaking and just doing funny hand movements, people loved it, and he was seeing the data that this thing was getting more views, and it did more of that. And by just measuring and iterating and doing more of that, today is like the highest TikTok star. So going to the next slide, where I wanted to emphasize a lot about where this is where a lot of us experts are being differentiated from beginners, which is distribution. I keep saying this, distribution is the core of content marketing today. And why is it the most important part of content marketing? Because there are 5 billion internet users in the world, almost 500 million in Africa, or more than that. In Nigeria alone, almost everybody has access, because we now have devices that, affordable devices, everybody's on the internet. So we are competing for attention. It's very, very fierce. So now you start seeing that sometimes stupid things start trending, right? A lot of stupid things trend, where you see that because people have seen so much content that it's the stupid thing that's probably just, and this is why you see that memes is a very popular thing in the crypto space, because there's nothing you want to say that we've not heard before. Just give me something to laugh about. That's it. Because people have access to information, they can watch whatever movie they want, they can do all these things. So if you are not different in a way, your content will not perform. And distribution is like a core part of like a content marketing, whereby, how do you get, if 5 of us are making the same content, what should be my differentiating factor? Aside the fact that we are creating, maybe my storyline is a little bit different from yours, and we are doing the basic same things, we are all going to get the same results. So how do I get my content to appear? So this is where for example now, at my marketing agency called SKILLUP, right? When we started, we were doing the basic things for our clients, like, you do the SEO, you write content on blog, you upload it, you wait for Google to rank you up, you do all those things. Then we started seeing that, man, the competition was fierce, right? You start optimizing blog posts, write it, use keywords, all these things. I mean, if you start doing paid advertisements, some people will outspend you. If you do all these things, they outspend you. So started thinking, what are the strategies that we can do? What can we do for this our client? Then we started thinking outside the box, like, okay, maybe we can test out maybe like a referral campaign, to distribute this content. Like, okay, if you share this thing, you earn this thing, or so like that. So we give the audience back the money. Or, maybe we create a community. And then, we started thinking of so many things. And then from there, we started figuring out like, okay, maybe we need to do something different to actually distribute this content to people, because distribution is very, very crazy. So now, another example is that for anybody who watch American movies very well, you find out that the storyline is almost the same thing. One actor, they killed his wife, then he went to take revenge. I've seen that storyline since I was young. Or maybe somebody went to steal something, they now jailed him, he now came back, he now repented. I've seen that story like a million times. Or maybe somebody he was a poor guy, he's working then he now fell in love. Then the poor guy the guy now loved him because he was poor. I've seen those stories like 2 million times already, so I'm bored, right? So, but why do you think these platforms are like, these storylines they are always coming? It's because they understand distribution, right? They know distribution. Marvel movies will always keep selling, right? Wakanda now already did last time I checked, they already did $400 million in like revenue. And they had a budget of 250. I'm sure they will break $1 billion because they understand distribution, which is like the most important part. Distribution. How do you distribute the content? What should we do differently from others? You understand? So distribution now, you need a budget. You need like, what platform can we like partner with, or what platform can I leverage on to distribute my content? Currently, right now, TikTok is like one of the fastest way you can build your stuff. So for somebody who is not smart and is trying to like build on Instagram, while others are a smart person is building on TikTok, even though you're creating the same content, it's going to be different because the algorithm on TikTok is different. So understanding distribution systems and strategy is very, very important. So let me give an example. Let's say I have a product now, because now Nigeria has a problem with saving in dollar, right? And almost everybody is encountering that. Because Naira is going down, everybody wants to save in dollars, right? One of the things that you can actually do, if you are bringing in a new product to a market that is already saturated, one of the things that you can actually do is, this is what people are not thinking about. Instead of going to to go and preach to people like, come and save in dollars, come and save in dollars. People already have like five for different applications that are already using saving dollars. Why can't you go and approach an organization, cooperative organization, and go and secure a deal with them to start saving their entire stuff on your platform? With that just one single partnership move, you've already onboarded thousands of people onto your platform without ever shouting to everybody, come and save in dollars. So you need to think about distribution. What strategy can I use? What partnerships do I need to make? What platforms can I leverage on? What budget do I need? How much do I need to spend? If you don't think about this well, your content will just sit there because competition is fierce. 5 billion internet users, god damn, it's a lot. So, like I said, even at organizations that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars where I worked at, right? I remember when I was working with, I shared this story with the founder of CPVC. Like, man, these people don't invest me because, I was hired as the marketing manager, right? And immediately I got there, in the first 2 weeks, I realized that, okay, these people have amazing content already. Their problem is they're not just distributing this content. They're not distributing this content. So they wanted me to come and start creating content and content. So, see, you have amazing content, like, You've created almost thousands of content that nobody has read. So your common sense should be telling you that you should not create more. You should figure out a way to distribute. This is a $100 million company. Excuse me. They don't even know this, right? So by the time we switched, they didn't agree with me at first. But I said, okay, let me experiment a little bit. By the time we put a budget together, instead of putting a budget to create the content, we started putting budgets to distribute that content. And within just 1 month, the game changed. The clients that we were not able to close before, we started closing them. Because why? All the content that we had, I developed a strategy of picking the content that I saw that it suits this particular client. Then I figured out a way to start running LinkedIn advertisement targeted at that person's company alone. So everybody in his company was just seeing that content. Within a month of like I said, people, whenever they see your brand over and over and over and over time, subconsciously they just develop this liking for you. We started closing those clients by just distributing the content we had, not just creating more content. So like I said, the competition is fierce. A lot of you, if you want to excel in content marketing, there are so many tools that you can use to create content. There was one, Copy AI, that people use to, if you just give it keywords, it creates a bunch of content for you. There are so many no-codes to popping out now. But what AI and robots cannot do very, very well is how do you create distribution strategy. So if you want to excel in content marketing, you should focus more on how do you distribute, because literally, like I said, everyone knows about creators. There are so many tools that you can use to create content now. Writing content, there are so many key platforms that you can generate. They will generate millions and millions of words for you. There are so many platforms you can use to generate scripts. There are platforms that will create videos for you. Just give them the scripts. They will use AI to create. So all these things are popping up. It means content creation is getting a little bit easier, although it's not totally out of it. It's getting easier. So marketing it now, content marketing, distributing it is where the keyword is, because 5 billion internet users, it's a lot of work. So pay attention to the keyword distribution, focus on it. So for the last slide, let's look at how content marketing in the blockchain industry works, which is like a place where I've spent a huge part of my career. So in the crypto space, content marketing is used to maybe build, we don't call them audiences in crypto, so we call them communities. So using content marketing, we use them to build up communities. You do a lot of education using educational content, you create the content, you distribute it to your communities. We use content marketing to drive up token price and number of token holders. This is why you see whatplattforms whenever maybe Coinbase just tweets that, okay, we are listing this kind of token, everything just spikes up, all the price of those things spikes up, because by just distributing their content and sharing it to their social media, people are able to connect and say oh, this thing, they start making the numbers in their head. Now, we also use the content marketing to drive product downloads and usage. So an example of this is that one of the clients we worked with, we created several contents for them, and we put some of them, we put them on SEO ranking blogs. We did a lot of these things, but the ones that performed the most was just using that same content that we created. So we created an animated video that was at the height of when the old saving dollars started coming. So in the content, we didn't mention anything about crypto because we know people are like very skeptical. We just tell them this platform can allow you to save in dollars. Something as simple as that. And then we put some paid advertising. We distributed it via paid advertising on Facebook. And then we had series of product downloads. So again, most common forms of content at the moment in the blockchain and crypto industry is like you have memes and short videos. Because in the crypto space, things are happening so very, very fast that your content should not be something except if you are distributing it via platforms like maybe Netflix, Amazon Prime. If you are distributing it via your own distribution systems or channels, your content should be short, something that can just catch people's attention as soon as possible. If it's going to be long form, it has to be like excellent, maybe a piece of writing, an article. It has to be like well-written article that's like very incorporates a lot of storytelling, and you get blockchain industry. The opportunity is very, very massive. I remember the last sort of like this bootcamp that we had. I don't remember if it is a year ago or 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly. I remember that I also had this sort of call, and then one of the I think 2 or 3 of the participants then reached out to me like, they were interested and stuff like that. I just kept watching them, and then I eventually hired one of them to actually work with me, and that person has worked with me for the past 2 years, and she's like a beast now in the content marketing industry, right? And she's been working in the past 2 years, and she just keeps diving in deep more because the opportunities are like crazy, and it's an industry whereby content marketers are the problem is the industry does not know that they need content marketers. But if by the time you start, by the time it explodes, it's going to be too late because the supply will be too much by then. So if you're also considering where you can start your career, like I said, it's a very, very great place because right now, if you can build yourself and like excel well in the role, I mean, in the skill by developing, not just doing things that everybody is doing, like focusing on like just creating content. If you can start figuring out a way to hack distribution systems for a lot of these products, trust me, they're going to hire you because at the end of the day, almost every business is going to be a media business. It's going to be like a media, and everybody wants to distribute their content out there. They want to know what to let people know what they are doing. So an example of a product where, like I said, all the things that we gathered in learning, for my marketing agency, then we started realizing that we need to build like a distribution system where people can actually enjoy to build it. So we came up with the idea of building like a platform where people can actually use localized storytelling, and they can also earn rewards. We know that those kind of things like connect to people, and started building Gateway. So if you want to sign up on Gateway, this is the address at gatewayhub.co. You can sign up. We're going to launch next month. It's a platform where we are using like localized education and like gamification to actually distribute content to people, because we know that short videos and things like reward connect more with people. So we started building that distribution system. So what happens now is by the time we build this platform, we already have partners like Cluno reaching out to us like, we want to partner with you. Probably have Binance, because they know that we have a distribution platform now where we can help them create the content and distribute it. So this is what I'm saying about distribution is like the next big thing you need to figure out in the industry. So yeah, I believe I'm going to stop here. Thank you so much for listening.